It developed as I wrote it. I first wanted to write about a scared kid, a scared transplant, and which was me, who comes up to New York and says, and one side of it is saying, "Oh, this is wonderful," and the other side of it is saying, "Oh my God, what did I do?" So, uh, I I wanted to have that side there, but and I'll be but one lesson I learned from writing this one, and I'm going to follow this, is that I'm going to have more of an outline. I had an outline up here, and as I wrote it, I mean, things had to evolve, and things evolved differently, so I had to take turns here and there. But I think that it was a model where I think overall, I knew what I wanted to write. I knew the overall theme. I just on how to get to that specific part was the area you had to figure out. Was the area that I was trying to figure out, and I was doing that as I was going along.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the author podcast. You get to meet amazing authors from around the world. And what's better than one Dave? How about two? David's on with me today. We're going to be talking about his journey as an author. We're going to get all into the numbers, a lot of financial talk today, but we're going to talk about a great journey as an author and great story for you to listen to today as we listen to the podcast and read when you buy David's amazing book. David, welcome to Living Next Chapter. So glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
Excellent. David, tell everybody, where are you in this big world of ours?
In this big world, I am currently living in Red Bank, New Jersey. I am approximately 40 miles south of New York City, Bruce Springsteen country. Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi country, as a matter of fact.
Come on.
The Highway 9 referenced in the song Born to Run is about 15 to 20 minutes away from me. And if you look at all the references to the Jersey Shore that are in his songs, they're landmarks to me. So
nice.
This is nice to be this is my adopted home, and I love it so far.
Beautiful. So at some point, you're going to become a popular rock singer and travel the world, right?
No, not
Maybe.
that. I'll be a popular author and travel the world.
You're going to go a different route, but you're going to be,
route.
Yeah. Okay, good. I like it. Good. Awesome. Okay. Is that where you're born and raised too then?
I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
I grew up in a city called York, which is about 100 miles west of Philadelphia.
Okay.
My father was a Main Street lawyer. My mother was a teacher slash dress seamstress. I went to Drexel in Philadelphia. I majored in international business, later specializing in business. And I tried avoiding New York, and they said to me, "Well, if you want to work in finance, you're going to have to move up there." And I said to the recruiter, "Do I have to?" And here I am. I've been up here since I was 23, since the 90s.
Wow.
So
Nice.
I've seen New York through certain lenses over the past several years.
Nice. Amazing. What's some of the things you've been doing career-wise before going down the road of being an author?
I have 2 degrees in finance. I worked in I worked in several asset management firms. One day I was stuck in a position where no one. My first job out of school, I was stuck in a position that no one was really noticing me. And a friend of mine said, "Okay, do something that will make them notice you." And so what he did is that he gave me a template on investment research reports to write. And I followed that template, and I wrote several investment research articles ranging from a small regional telephone company in upstate New York, a small telecom that is trying to lay wire across the Pacific, transport underwater wire across the Pacific to
Wow.
our big corporations like General Motors, Eli Lilly, Apple, and I will be starting one on Caterpillar soon. So I taught myself, and then I went through, and then I did my regular job doing investment management operations, doing compliance, and sometimes a manager threw a research project at me every so often, saying, "Hey, we're shorthanded on this. Why don't you write about this company?" And they did that, and I did a few of those on the side.
Nice. Excellent. So where does writing for yourself come into play? How did you even get the spark to say, hey, I want to be an author and start my journey doing this?
I've been a longtime fan of John Grisham, David Baldacci, and Dan Brown. One author that is not as known is Christopher Reich. Wrote a book called Numbered Account, and I was starting out in finance at the time, and I saw, and it hit close to home. I also, and also being in New York, when I was writing these reports, these companies report net income, say, okay, we earned this amount, and due to do this amount in revenue. And the reason why it's higher or lower are reasons A, B, and C. And there were several of them, like market fads, regulations, like every single reason why a company changes value. And then I said, there are plenty of stories behind those numbers. Plenty of stories. And then you even walk into a Manhattan bar at 6 o'clock, at 5 or 6 o'clock on a Friday, and then you and I used to live in Hoboken, and you get to hear people talk about their conquests, be it personal or professional, and you see the number of stories that are behind them. So and that always mystified me when I was reading Grisham, Patterson, Brown on commutes in and out. The spark happened. I had a job interview in Chicago. It was a very weird weekend weather-wise. It was really hot. It was in April. It was very hot, which is atypical for that city. And then normally you say, okay, what goes up must come down. And then when I was scheduled to fly out, a torrential rainfall plus a mini tornado went through the city, delaying my flight for 6 hours. So naturally my flight was scheduled to leave at 4. I didn't leave until 10, and that's when the airport concession stands start to close. So I had to, and given how huge the American Airlines terminal is in that airport, I said to myself, let me do something before I go crazy. I went into a corner and took out my laptop and came out with a story of my own, and the Financial Syndicate was born.
Wow. From an airport. That's not the most common place to write a book.
Yes, from an airport.
Wow. Okay.
I've even continued it in airports. Not that specific one. I'm still trying to find the exact spot in O'Hare where where I started writing it. I should have paid more attention to the terminal numbers at the time, but I had other things. But I had other things on my mind as well. So.
That'd be an interesting spot if you could find it, and then have I think we talked about having a book signing or something going, my book was created right here in this spot, and there'd be a big ceremony and a cutting of a ribbon, or I don't know, something would happen.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I need to talk to the O'Hare Airport authorities about that, saying, let the Pennsylvania/New Jersey person come in here, and better yet, the Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Well,
go and have a book signing ceremony in O'Hare.
Well, I'm sure there's somebody listening who can make this happen. So
yes. To anyone in Chicago, if you want to extend the invitation, I'm open to it.
Okay, there you go. That works. So the idea for the story, though, where did that come from? Because that's another thing. It's one thing to write a book, but you got to have a story first.
Okay. Some of that came from my own experiences in the financial industry. Alex Colton is like Alex Colton's originally from Kentucky. He was luckier than me. He landed a job, and he was on his way to New and he's on his way to New York, and he has this and he was this fish out of water, and something that I and it's a feeling that I had during that time period. It was a scary yet exciting time for me. And on top of that, he was in an atmosphere where nobody knew him and nobody was willing to extend a hand to him. So there was the influence in that. Another influence, naturally, given that I've been in New York all these years, I saw over the past several years, I saw several events in New York. I saw 9/11. I saw the mortgage the mortgage bubble and
Yeah.
very big boom. And I saw the Enron corporate scandals. And later on, I saw the pandemic and how the city reacted to that. And so I always was one of the advantages I had being in this area all these years is that I was able to observe. I was able to observe people's behavior. I was able to observe people in the office, how they interacted, what they were thinking. And even as I said earlier, whenever I was walking into a bar during a happy hour, I was able to observe the interplay between people. And I thought I could make myself invisible, and maybe I was, but it was, but I, the main influence of this came from just working in the financial industry and working in New York and working as a single guy trying to find his way around the city and trying to make sense of it.
Nice. Because yeah, that's a very stressful line of work as well, right? When you're working with numbers like that and working with large companies and all of that, that's not a job you can just kind of check out of and not have your whole heart and mind in. You got to really focus on what you're doing when you're dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yes, many of the things that I've done on my own.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make myself known, and naturally, I have worked in it, and I've always been a voice in my company. But for example, when it comes to analysis and what makes some of these companies tick, why do they do what they do? Most of it came from myself.
Yeah.
And and when you kind of think, saying, okay, where is all this coming from, is the good basis for a story, and it's a good inspiration for a story as well.
Yeah. Right. And I like that you watch people. I like that you pick up on what's happening within the office, within the people that you work with, and then the stories that you follow that relate to what you do.
Yes.
Just watching people. I think that's a great tip for a new author that's listening. Is I've had other authors on, and when they're on like public transit, they just watch how people talk to each other. They watch how people do their day. And that becomes like foundations for characters, and because they want their characters to be realistic. So keeping your eyes out and just watching people can really be a great source of information and help you to shape your story and your characters.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is. I always, and even while I even got one influence from one event occurred when I was writing a report, and I writing an investment research report, and I sent it to an analyst at a bulge bracket bank, as in J.P. Morgan. I'm not going to these Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, one of those.
Big one, yeah.
And it was the week between Christmas and New Year's, and I finished it around that time. And what I did is that I called him the week before Christmas, and I called him once the week after, and then I finally reached him the first week in the new year. And what he did afterwards, when he finally got to me, he said, "Look, I have all this work to do, and you're and you have to call me, and this is disconcerting, and yelling and screaming, and granted, if that happened 10 years before it happened, I probably would have hung up crying. But at the same time, I said, okay, I found the influence for something. And there is a scene where in the book where an eager, hungry analyst was trying to get in there, and he gets reamed out by my villain. And you kind of look at it, and then when you write about it, you laugh at it, and you
Right.
say, okay, that's and you know, and I was kind of shocked when I first heard it, and granted, one aspect of living here and working in this industry is that expect to get yelled at, expect to get
Yeah.
yelled at by many things, and I've learned to grow used to it, and that's part of the and then that was part of that dichotomy, saying, okay, there was something that horrible happened
Yeah.
and happened to me, and then just make it and just kind of make it a life lesson and try to insert it in the book.
Right.
So that is something I have always. That's something that I will continue to do, especially in my next novel, which will be hitting home for me more personally than this one, than my current book.
Yeah. Okay. Because writing is writing.
Okay.
So you're writing reports, you're doing all these things as an analyst and giving all this information to people. But then writing a story is different. What kind of things translate from what you do, what you were doing in your job, to writing as an author, an independent author? What things kind of carry over? What's something you can bring into your writing to benefit you?
I have the advantage of being both left and right brained. I can like just as an example, I can do my investment analysis 15 minutes and then start working on my book the next. And,
Wow.
and vice versa, and then try not because and when I'm feeling tired, saying okay, I want to get creative, and then and then go to the book. I What I often do, what overlaps the two, is that I look at what's in the news and I look at what might be relevant to the book and say, okay, this might be an area where I could either try to make my reader learn, or probably even something as simple as trying to make my reader laugh or cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is something I like. I try like one of the things with being in New York and being in such a news heavy area is that and of many things that can affect that, you can say, okay, let's just see what I can to insert something like that to try and make my reader think, laugh, or cry, or be inspired.
Right. To feel something.
Yes, to
Right.
feel something.
Right.
Exactly.
I think that's important because then when readers feel something, then they feel more connected to the story and your characters. That's really important. So those are some of the things that you carried from your career into your writing. What was something that you had to learn from scratch by becoming your own author that didn't carry forward from what you did in the past?
Something I've learned from scratch is that this is many beginning authors make this mistake. I took is kind of the length and formatting and editing. That is and that's something that I've learned. Like, for example, when I started the book, I took a James Patterson book and I
Yeah.
said, okay, and part of this is naivety now,
Yeah.
but it was logical thinking back then. I said, okay, this James Patterson book has 420 some odd pages, typical for maybe a John Grisham or a Baldacci or
Yeah.
Edward Kellerman or any one of those. And I said, okay, since 420 pages, let's try and at 420 pages. But one of the things I learned as an author, and I kind of learned this the hard way, is that and I had to do some editing, and there probably will be some editing when it hits physical when it hits physical copies. Most likely there will be, is that it's based on word count, and that was something I learned as an author. Another thing was marketing.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes when you say, okay, this person, I wrote this book, and I can easily go on Facebook or LinkedIn or even just go to a bar and I've done this a couple times. Go to the band that's playing, and the lead singer says, "Read the Financial Syndicate by David Wolfson." Is that my father was a marketer, and my father was a sole proprietor as a lawyer. my father was a very good marketer, and sometimes I look back at my memories of him and saying, okay, maybe try and do some of these things to get the book out there. So when it came, so pretty much was format and marketing, and just you have to continually get your book out there and continually do this until you're an established name. And even when you become an established name, you still have to. It's still you have some people behind you, but it's still a fight. You still have to get out there
Yeah.
and work to make sure to tell everyone it's out there.
Yeah. It's interesting because when I talk to authors, they tend to have a lot of support in the writing process from beta readers and editors and coaches, and that's great. When you get to the final product and you have a box of books on your kitchen table, that's when everybody seems to walk away. And you're like, well, nobody going to help me kind of sell this book now? And they're like, well, it's your book. Congratulations. Go do it. And you're like, I don't know where to start.
Exactly.
So for that author that's listening, David, what kind of suggestions do you have about marketing your book now that you're in this part of your journey?
Always, first of all, just promote it on social media when you can. Try and stay away from scammers. That's a big thing. Like sometimes scammers can be very complimentary, and you have to learn what not to. You have to learn not to fall into their trap. Always, and what I often do is I go to my local Barnes and Noble, and their authors, and the advantage where I currently live, and many authors, and I can see why many authors like the beach, and and since it's a very creative area, given the many creative influences there, I walk up to the author and say, okay, I show them my book, show them my book on my phone, and I say I'm an author as well. Any advice? And I've developed some friendships with some of them, and just say, okay, how do I get on podcasts? How do I get this attention? And it's one of those things where how do I get this person's attention? And I took many suggestions, like going to library expos, as a matter of fact, calling several legitimate bookmarkers, which is one of the reasons why I'm sitting talking to you. Trying to and always trying to get your name out there, and it's especially tough when you're working full time as well.
Right.
Like, for example, if you become this big, if you become the John Grisham or Stephen King, and yes, they're doing the writing, but they have the marketing behind them, and they have the marketing team to do that. But as of now, it's just me, and I rely only on myself when it comes to marketing. When it comes to marketing, getting that name out there, and you just have to. And granted, I have busy days of work, and on top of that, I commute into Manhattan every morning, and you have to set aside time, be it your train commute or be it on your lunch hour, and just say, this is my book. It's out there, and feel free to buy it on ebook. And that's how you worked. And that's, at least with me, that's how you work to getting physical copies and to getting it converted to physical copies. And hopefully, we'll try. That would be I think I'd overcome one benchmark in doing that.
Nice.
I know there will be several more that I have to do, but
Yeah.
that's one.
It's kind of this ongoing project, and
it's an ongoing project.
Right?
And it's tough when you have to, when you have a job, when you have a full-time job to do that pays the bills, and unfortunately that does take precedence.
Yeah. For the readers, David, we kind of talked a lot to the authors, which is amazing, and I love doing that. Let's switch over to the readers. Let's talk a little bit more about the storyline for the readers, and what maybe a reader should know before they open the book for the first time, if they could have a few moments with you.
Okay.
Give us some view into the book.
All right. My main character is Alex Colton. He's a fresh college grad. He is an athlete. He is kind of your all-American kid. Beautiful girlfriend. He is what every college senior is, kind of what I is. Maybe Alex Cold was an aspiration I was trying to have as a college to receive as a college senior. Decorated athlete, good job, beautiful girlfriend, and then he gets this wonderful opportunity in New York. And granted, I grew up 3 hours away from New York, and I have relatives here, so New York was never a strange city to me.
Yeah.
But for someone it was a strange city. It was a strange city when I came to live here, but it wasn't a strange city growing up.
Yeah.
But you see, and he is kind of a fish out of water. He's kind of from a lower middle. He's from a blue collar family. He gets this job offer, and you have to read the book to find out how he gets the job offer further. So that's more of an invitation to answer that question. He gets this job offer, and and then when he sees this, he is enthusiastic and scared at the same time. Same feelings I had when I came here at the age of 23. And then what happens afterwards? The head partner, who is this grandfather-like figure, dies suddenly of a heart attack, and a very kind of a how do I put this? A very enthusiastic but very dark, very good salesman, but a very dark person. Takes over the operations as the interim CEO. And he tries to peddle and this is where the influence from the mortgage mess comes. He tries to peddle toxic securities because if you remember from the mortgage mess from 17 years ago, when they were saying, okay, we are trying to sell mortgages derived from this, and they had these crazy valuations.
Yeah.
So this guy was trying to create convertible property obligations, which was, and I made this up, and I probably got creative after reading business media, that like suppose someone built a Walmart or a huge retail mall, and then so the common sense thing would be to do that in middle America or in a very rural area, and then they say, okay, you build all these you build all these areas to attract people, and then invest in the land around it. So
Right.
what my villain was trying to do was create a speculative bubble around that land, which is somewhat influenced by the toxic securities. And he even had this joke, and I even put this in jokingly as a jab towards these guys, saying, it came up with these valuation formulas that no one could figure out, and saying, see how my investment's going to do, and no one understood what he was doing. So that is so that was part of it as well. So there's some influence in the news and influence of someone that is coming into a big city completely scared, and also someone's rough and tumble dysfunctions with life, love, and trying to do the right thing, and trying to do the right thing and trying to figure out answers to things. So that's the Financial Syndicate for the most part. I kind of some of it was influenced from Mitch McDeere of the firm, or he kind of has that. He's a little bit younger than Mitch McDeere of the firm, and he's single, but just that. But that influence of, for example, if you watch the movie, when the Tom Cruise Mitch McDeere character gets the offer, he is, oh, I'm saying, oh, I finally made it, I'm here, and that was an influence when I was writing the beginning.
Nice. Talk a little bit about the reader. Who do you have kind of in mind, David? Who would be your ideal reader for this story?
I think my ideal reader would would naturally be an adult. So adult, male, female. It should appeal to every It should appeal to most demographics. Should appeal to whether it'll appeal to the Wall Streeter, I don't know, but it should appeal to maybe just the regular the regular guy going to work.
Yeah.
There are scenes of Alex in relationships and the complexities having to go through that. I think that should appeal to women.
Yeah.
It should also, and also to anyone who is probably working for a corporation, saying this does hit home for me,
Yeah.
or someone that or maybe someone who who's in a blue collar job who just wants to see a decent guy struggle and persevere.
What do you admire about your main character when you think of him and how he navigates career and the story? What is it about this character that you just like feel drawn to him as the author?
He stays honest. He
Okay.
stays he is who he is, and he doesn't stray from that.
Interesting.
And I still consider, despite the fact that I've been here since I graduated from college, I am for the most part the same person. Probably if I changed and became one of those guys, my parents would have killed me. But but he stays true to himself. He does what he naturally learns, and he comes out a different person. He comes out more seasoned, but he's the same person. He stays true, and he has the same values that he had growing up. So he's still the Kentucky kid that happens to be in New York. And I refer to myself as the Pennsylvania kid still in New York, who happens to work in New York, living on the shore. So there, with that aside.
You said when he came to New York, he felt like a fish out of water, and those feelings. What is one of the early lessons he had to learn that we're going to read about in the story? Something that was like a transformational moment for him in this new setting, in this new life, new city. What was one of those experiences that you share in the book?
I think one transformational moment is seeing how much of a sleaze his boss was.
Oh.
And he saw it very early. That I think there is I don't want to give away any plot points.
Yeah. No.
There was a scene where the boss was kind of asking him to do an initiation. The very beginning, when he's still making the move, and then the boss had this toothy smile, like some of these CEOs do, and they say, "Alex, could I have a talk with you in the corner?" And then he reams him out and throws a slew of 4-letter words at him, and said, "Okay, this is." And he probably said, "Okay, this guy is a little sketchy." So, and I think that's where he starts. And I have personally witnessed that. Whether the person is going to call me and I think I know what influenced that, I'm going to plead the fifth on that. But it was one of those things when he sees how his boss is acting, it's one of those instances of we're not in Kansas anymore, or case we're not in Kentucky anymore.
So your character grows up pretty fast in the story.
Yes, he grows up pretty fast there, and then he finally figures out that he walks on eggshells with this guy for the most part. So and then he finally, when he realizes that his boss is up to no good, he's still walking on eggshells, saying what. And I think when you read the book, you'll see Alex's mindset, even though I don't write it, saying, okay, what did I get into, and what is this? And what kind of person is this? And this person is naturally my bread and butter right now.
Yeah. So he's being his idea of life and how to show up and how to have integrity. That's kind of at stake here a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. What about his relationships outside of work? Does he have someone with him that's on this journey as well?
All right, part of he has the girlfriend in the beginning. He has one girlfriend in the beginning, and the girlfriend works for when both he and his girlfriend graduate. He goes to New York. The girlfriend goes to Washington to work for the staff of a senator.
Oh, wow.
And if you read the book, that could be one of any senators, Democratic or Republican. So,
Good.
and this is a kind of like a sleazy older politician. I I think one influence of this senator, and granted he's older and he's leaving public life next year, and granted he's from Kentucky, is I looked at Mitch McConnell,
Hmm.
and
Okay. Yeah.
I kind of and that character was a small, and that senator who is probably has this calm demeanor, and with other things on the side, she works for him, and then their relationship takes a dive as a result of that senator's son. And I don't want to be giving away the plot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but he also establishes a relationship with a receptionist slash secretary that and that tries to that sees what's happening, and then she becomes a personal and professional ally to Alex.
Right. I do notice on your Instagram, there's pictures of you. I voted, and you're sharing that. So I can tell that the political side of your beliefs and what you stand for is really important for you. Does that kind of feed into your story then?
A little. I'm trying to, one of the things I don't want to do is that, given that we are a 50-50 country, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I don't want to go to and naturally when I promote this book, I'm from Pennsylvania, which is swing district, and I don't want to be going, and I don't want to be going to red states and have angry people walk up to me at the bookstore. Like that.
Yeah, no. We
But
want to sell books. Yeah.
I think people see the side in which people see the side in which I voted, but at the same time, like John Grisham or Tom Clancy, who was on the other side of the aisle, they don't try. They insert their beliefs and they insert their views, but they don't. But they don't impose it.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
that's what I try to do, saying, yes, this is my point of view and this is my opinion and how I see it. But at the same time, I would want, for example, a Trump voter to read this, or better yet, even a member of his administration to read it. I think one person who I'd like to extend this book to would be Scott Besant. When it comes over
Scott, are you listening, Scott?
Yes.
Okay, he's listening.
over possible regulation of treasuries. So or any, because I want everyone to read it, and I want everyone to come to their own conclusions, and see the good and the bad.
Yeah. When you sat down to write it in the airport, waiting to get on a plane, did you have an underlying theme or thesis you wanted to kind of make as the foundation of the book, and that was your starting point, or did it develop as you wrote the book?
It developed as I wrote it. I first wanted to write about a scared kid, a scared transplant, and which was me, who comes up to New York and says, and one side of it is saying, "Oh, this is wonderful," and the other side of him is saying, "Oh my God, what did I do?" So I wanted to have that side there, but one lesson I learned from writing this one, and I'm going to follow this, is that I'm going to have more of an outline. I had an outline up here, and as I wrote it, I mean, things had to evolve, and things evolved differently, so I had to take turns here and there. But I think that it was a model where I think overall, I knew what I wanted to write. I knew the overall theme. I just, on how to get to that specific part was the area you had to figure out. Was the area that I was trying to figure out, and I was doing that as I was going along.
Okay. You did mention earlier that you have another project on the go for a later point.
Yes.
This is Living the Next Chapter, so it's kind of in the name of my show.
Okay.
How are you, David, living your next chapter? Or give us a little sense of maybe what we can look forward to in the future.
Okay, my next book is one issue I'm having in the financial markets is that many Wall Street firms, and I'm hoping, and it looks like many industrial companies doing this, and I think many Wall Street firms are following the tradition of the industrial heartland factories. Speaking as a Pennsylvania kid, and speaking as a father, and speaking as a son of someone who arbitrated labor deals, I part of it is contract employment, meaning that you're not a full-time employee. I mean, if you healthcare is not included, but in many cases, healthcare is part of the agency. And I'm not being funny by saying this. If you will wear the wrong shirt to work, you are out.
Mm.
So,
Right.
and for a city like New York, when you are, it just does not promote stability. Like you can't go into a place like, and it's very tough to go into Manhattan or any of the boroughs or like surrounding areas of Hoboken or Long Island or Connecticut, and walk in and say, okay, I have this temporary job, and then if you could be let go at a whim, and all of a sudden here you are investing in this apartment or house, and you're no source of income.
Right.
So and pretty much those are most of the calls I receive. So I am going to make my views known about contract employment in my next novel.
Okay.
And this next character, I don't want to make him, I'm trying to make him different. And I'm different from Alex Colton. I'm not trying,
Yeah.
I don't want to say, I don't want to fall into a trap of saying, okay, this is Alex Colton in with another name. I'm trying to
Yeah.
make him different, and I'm still trying to find ways to make him different. But I think one aspect with this main character is that uh, Alex was very lucky in getting that position and getting where he was. This character will not be as lucky.
Mm.
This character will be taking punches that will be taking personal punches that Alex did not take. Like I think Alex's main stress came from his job. This character's main stress will be coming from his job and a volatile personal situation.
Right.
That he's having unsteady employment and he's having to deal with that. So I'm still mapping this person out and still figuring this person out as well.
It's kind of that Mike Tyson thing that he said something along the lines that everybody has a plan until you get punched in the head.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah, kind of that feeling.
Or better yet, as the Philly kid who is a big Rocky fan, and I've always followed this because naturally I even saw the filming of Rocky 3 as a small child.
Really?
Really, because I remember I was with my parents at the art museum, and I saw Mr. T. And this is true. I saw, and naturally, this was about a year before.
Pity the fool. Yeah.
And I said, I remember this very well. I said, "Look at that guy's hair." And so, but not to go on the, yeah, because naturally, we like a 10-year-old Pennsylvania kid who sees a mohawk. But but I think of the Rocky quote, and not to go on that side. Not to go on that side, but the main quote from that, and the main thing I learned from those movies is that, and Mr. Stallone, I hope you're watching.
Yes, I hope so too.
Yes, doesn't matter how many times you get punched; it matters how you come back after being punched.
Right.
So, and then I kind of lived that through my career when everyone says no, you can't do this, and you just sit, take a breath, and say, okay, what's the next chapter?
Right.
So that 15. So that is kind of, and so that's kind of what my next character will be. You'll be someone that'll he'll be someone that's going to have issues resulting from this contract employment issue that Wall Street is doing, which I hope ends soon.
Nice. Do you have a rough idea of timeline for the next one?
I am hoping my goal is to have a rough draft by Labor Day of 26. That
Nice.
is, it's, I now I've learned the lessons from the first one, and I think the biggest thing working against me will be time. So I'm hoping to have a rough draft to be able to submit to someone by the end of next summer, and that is, and that's if everything goes well personally and professionally for me.
Or you get stranded in an airport and you have lots of time.
Exactly, I get stranded in an airport. I get stranded in an airport, or better yet, being a commuter into New York, get stranded on the New Jersey Transit train tracks and say, okay, you need to find something to do. Stranded in Penn
Talk about
Station.
taking something negative and turning it into a positive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. I love it. David, for the people that are listening, I know you have your Instagram. Where else can we send people to follow your journey, stay in touch with you, be up to date on what's happening next for you as an author?
Okay, I have an author page on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I am still working bare bones right now, I hope to have a site up. At least my goal is to have and this depends on sales, and this depends on how quickly the book gets out. I would like to have a working website up by the spring.
Okay.
And that's a workable goal. I also would like to have and I also would like to try and get involved in more podcasts such as yours to get more of that identity, to get more of that profile. So this is a process, and I'm learning this very quickly. This is a process as we go along, and the Instagram, the LinkedIn, and the Facebook, they are a start, and I hope to I will hope to be adding more in coming months.
Beautiful. We'll have links for everything in the show notes for people, and excited to see, David, where you go next as an author.
Thank you so much.
It's great that you took that opportunity to write that first book and take time to start the process of writing, even though it was a negative, being stuck there in the airport. You turned it around. It's really great. And the fact that you did that, now I get to have time with you and talk about your book.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. You're a great guest, David. I hope you do many, many more interviews and get to talk about your books often. So, David, thank you so much. Everybody, all the information for David in the show notes, as always. And when you buy his book, not if, but when, please leave a great review. I know David would love to hear your thoughts about the story and the character and everything that you loved about the book. That'll help inspire David to continue writing and help someone else to fall in love with the book as well. So
thank you again.
When you buy that book, leave that review, right, David?
Exactly. I need the reviews. That's what I'm gunning for. The reviews.
Excellent. Everybody, you know what to do. David, thank you so much for being part of the show. Come back in the future. I'd love to have you back, David.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much again for pressing play. As you've heard, great guests on the show. And one thing you didn't hear in this conversation is what? What did you not hear? Think about it for a second. That's right. Not a single solitary commercial for a mattress or a supplement or a whatever you call it. No. Why? Because we don't want to break up the conversation with commercials. So the fact that you're still here means that you are a fan of the show, I'm assuming. So if you want to help to keep the podcast going and to make me feel really happy, all I really care about is coffee, okay? I just got to be honest. I love coffee. I'm drinking one right now. It's starting to get cold. I need to warm it up. Helping us with our Buy Me a Coffee link over at livingthenextchapter.com and also in the show notes helps kind of keep the lights on around here. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm paying for everything. So I would love to have a little coffee donation, even $5. Kind of fills up my cup. And I would love to enjoy a coffee from you. So if you're interested, again, thank you for listening. But you can use our Buy Me a Coffee link and fill up the cup. Thanks for being here.